Most people think winners succeed just because they have more talents or way more resources or, I don't know, better opportunities. But what if I told you the ultimate secret to winning consistently actually has zero to do with what you have and literally everything to do with how you think? Look around. We're all dealing with this massive problem today, right? We're completely drowning in information. We're facing crazy competition and navigating this relentless uncertainty. But here's the thing. The real issue isn't a lack of tools or data. The real issue is a serious lack of strategic thinking. Because without strategy, we just react. We copy what everyone else is doing instead of actually understanding why they're doing it. And you see this divide everywhere right now. On one side, you've got folks relying on tactics without principles, basically just frantically reacting to pressure. And on the flip side, you have the true mastery of principles. That's what allows real leaders to survive and thrive when things get chaotic. Think about it. If you blindly follow a tactic, you're going to lose the exact second the environment shifts. But there is a solution. Okay, picture this. 400 years ago, an undefeated samurai named Miyamoto Musashi basically documented a strategy system, and it explains exactly why some people can consistently make better decisions under pressure. Inside his legendary text, The Book of Five Rings, is this timeless, almost operating system for understanding competition, leadership, and personal mastery. All right, so let's dive into this. In this explainer, we're going to decode the 5 specific principles separating reactive people from true strategic thinkers: Earth, Water, Fire, Wind, and Void. Section 1. Earth, the strategic foundation. Before anyone can win in business or their career or just life in general, they first have to clearly understand reality. Musashi actually views this whole strategy thing through the eyes of a builder. He writes, "Liken the soldier to a carpenter. The principles of the martial arts are like this." He uses this analogy to talk about careful planning. A master carpenter has to sharpen his tools, understand the wood, and know the exact utility of every single instrument before he even thinks about building something. And honestly, this concept translates perfectly to modern mental models. Just like that carpenter, professionals today absolutely have to master the fundamentals before chasing after shiny shortcuts. You've got to understand the whole system, meaning both the big picture patterns and the tiny details. Think about it. A great business leader has to deeply understand their customers and the fundamental market before they start trying to build and sell a product, right? So, your crucial takeaway from this Earth chapter is simply this: foundation before action. You absolutely must build that solid ground. But understanding reality is really only step 1, because as we all know, the world definitely doesn't stay still for very long. Section 2. Water, the adaptive mind. Which leads us perfectly into the second ring. Musashi's core teaching here is that you must literally make your mind like water. Why? Well, because water changes its shape without ever losing its fundamental nature. It just perfectly follows the form of whatever container you put it in. Doesn't matter if it's an angular box, a round bowl, a single drop, or a massive ocean. And that brings us to one of the absolute most vital mental models you can adopt. Rigid systems break, but adaptive systems survive. I mean, look at the companies that survived massive industry disruptions, or the leaders who successfully navigate crises. They're the ones who continuously learn and stay entirely flexible in their approach. So, to achieve this kind of fluid state, you need to maintain a calm, balanced, and highly alert mind. You've got to see the broad picture and avoid getting tunnel vision. Musashi emphasized that the mind that defeats one person is the exact same mind that defeats 10,000. It scales perfectly. If you focus on the ultimate outcome instead of getting super attached to one fixed technique, your relaxed mindset can handle literally any level of modern competition. But adaptation alone still isn't quite enough. Section 3. Fire, the science of timing and execution. Because eventually you still have to act. Adaptation is great, but it isn't enough on its own. Fire represents combat and execution. Like a flame, it can be a tiny spark or it can be a totally raging inferno. In Musashi's system, victory doesn't just come from swinging hard. It depends completely on momentum, rhythm, and seizing the perfect moment to take the initiative. So let's break down how this actually works in practice. Musashi outlines 3 specific ways to take control of a situation. First, the initiative of attack. Basically, you remain calm and then suddenly and quickly make the first move. Second is the initiative of waiting. This is catching your opponent the exact second they relax, taking full advantage of their changing rhythm. And third, the body-body initiative, advancing calmly as the opponent attacks and resolving things quickly the millisecond they waver. Just think about how perfectly these apply to market timing, or negotiating a massive deal, or seizing momentum during a product launch. But here is the stark reality you've got to remember. The best decision made at the wrong moment can and will fail. Executing a brilliant strategy without recognizing your opponent's collapse, or just completely misjudging the timing, that leads straight to failure. Timing really is everything. Section 4. Wind. Understanding the competition. Which forces us to look outward. Musashi firmly believed that you can't fully understand your own way without deeply understanding the ways of others. Interestingly, in Japanese, the character for wind carries this brilliant double meaning. It means the physical wind, sure, but it also means style or tradition. So this chapter is essentially Musashi's ultimate guide to competitor analysis. When comparing other styles to his true way, Musashi was relentless. He critiqued competitors who just blindly followed tradition or over-specialized in a single tool or got totally focused on flashy, superficial tricks just to look good. His way, on the other hand, was all about mastering fundamentals, adapting to the terrain, and acting directly. So ask yourself right now, are your modern competitors distracted by superficial tactics instead of focusing on core principles? Because if they are, you already have the advantage. Section 5. Void the ultimate mastery. And finally, we reach the ultimate destination for anyone trying to master this operating system. The character here represents emptiness or void, and it is incredibly powerful. But we need to be really clear here. In this context, void absolutely does not mean nothingness. It actually represents a profound, hyper-focused state of awareness. Here's the true definition we need to grasp. Emptiness is clarity beyond confusion. It's the place where all intuitive execution, true mastery, and correct actions naturally come from. See, when you've mastered the fundamentals of earth, the adaptability of water, the timing of fire, and the awareness of wind, technique simply disappears. Only the right action remains. For modern professionals, achieving the void means getting to a point where you act naturally and instantly, completely without overthinking. It means seeing the unseen, understanding deeper patterns, and completely eliminating hesitation. You don't just use a strategy anymore. Through relentless practice and clear perception, you let go of fixed methods, and you literally become strategy itself. You completely trust your trained intuition to make the perfect call in the heat of the moment. Which leaves us with this final crucial question. How will you apply this operating system to your own defining battles tomorrow? It's time to stop relying on mere tactics, superficial tricks, and blind reactions. Start implementing these ancient, battle-tested principles, foundation, adaptability, timing, competitor awareness, and profound clarity to actually win in your own modern arenas. The blueprint is right there. It's entirely up to you to build it.